Wonder makes a Wonder Woman. You know, we were just talking even next door about the fact that as women, often we tend to perpetuate the fact that we are the only women in the room, especially in male-dominated fields. So we love being the only one. Most often I see women not taking other women with them to make sure that they empower them. And I think it's very important that as women, we do that. That is what makes a Wonder Woman. You know, let's make it a mission to take another woman with, to make sure that those young ones are also developed and taken by hand by us who are already there. Because that is what men do. You know, in South Africa, we love barbecue. We call it bride. Men always make sure that they have a bride together and they bring the young men to develop them. They'll make sure that they introduce them to golf and they play golf with them. Whereas us as women, we love being the only one, like I'm saying, in the room. So we must always make it a deliberate effort, make a deliberate effort to empower any other women as well. Also, I always say that transformation is a journey, and it doesn't just happen by itself. There's no way that it will happen by itself. So it's important that on the journey of transformation, as we say, this is how I'm going to change the status quo, we make sure that we do it deliberately to make sure that the status quo changes for the betterment of those that are coming afterwards. And I'm going to make an example about myself, because sometimes we have to make those sacrifices as individuals. You know, when I went for my honors at a historically white university, coming from a historically black university in South Africa, the guy that was the first one to be admitted was a male, obviously, black South African. And when I came in that faculty, it was clear, they just told themselves that this one is going to repeat. You know how it is, it was more like, we are not even going to waste our time, she's going to repeat. But I had to make sure that I changed that perception by working not just twice harder, but 10 times harder. Because if I didn't, it would mean anyone who comes who looks like me, automatically they must just repeat. You know, that's why I'm saying sometimes as women, we really have to make those sacrifices, especially for the ones that are coming after us. Because that was more of saying, I'm going to change how things look for us as women. Not just for anyone, but especially for us as women. Because already he's a guy, he's repeating, so obviously, who am I? It's more like, she's a woman. If a guy coming from a historically black university is repeating, definitely this one is going to repeat as well. So that's important. Another example that I love, that my big brother loves this one. I happened to be one of, you know, after Nelson Mandela and all that, the whole country was excited and we're talking affirmative action and including other people and all these nice terms, inclusive growth and all. And it so happened that I happened to be taken on a learnership program, it's not an intern, we call them learnership. Then we're calling them graduates in training. And I happened to be the only woman with two guys. Obviously, people that look like me. I'm not talking about white people. The company Janssen Sealeg, it's part of Johnson & Johnson. You know Janssen. It's mainly, it was mainly white people working there. So when I got there, they started training us on something called product development, obviously. And it so happened that we had to write this test. But for you to pass, you had to pass with 80% for them to say that you've passed, okay? So we wrote the test, and as students, you know yourselves, you know who can perform better than you and all that. The first lady to finish, I knew that one beat me. I was the second one to finish the exam. And then it went. And afterwards, when the guy was marking our papers, white Afrikaner guy, Theo, he marked everyone else except us. And then afterwards he said, he called us aside, and I knew something was wrong, you know? And he said, guys, you are going to have to repeat, and I knew there was no way that that would be the case. So I said to him, with due respect, Mr. Theo, I'm going to ask you to mark my paper against, I just chose one person that I knew, her name was Magda, that there's no way that she did better than me. I said, mark my paper against hers. And guess how much I got after the remark? 96%. You know, it was so bad to a point that he even wrote a letter to me to apologize, and he was telling me that, oh, you know, when I read Cry the Beloved Country, I cried. You know how they can be. But you know, why was I doing that? Obviously, that was risky for me. I'm a trainee. I'm black. I'm a woman. It could have meant that I'm no longer part of that company. It could have meant that I'm victimized, being a black woman. I mean, like I'm saying, we were the group of interns that were taken on board, and I was the only one. But you know what? I had to take that chance. That's why I'm saying sometimes you need to be those sacrifices that make it better for those that are coming afterwards. I had to deliberately take that chance so that I make the path better for those that are coming after me. It wasn't just about me, but it was about those that will come after me, so that they know that you don't mess up with a black woman. If you do, she will take you on board. Because if I was just going to keep quiet and say, okay, I'll repeat, then it means that's how it was going to be for all of us, you know, anyone who comes after that, you know. So also, I always say that individually empower and employ women. If you are going to employ women, make sure that you empower them and make sure that you make it easier for them to succeed. Support them to succeed. Because, you know, I've had female bosses, and some of them were even worse than me. You know, it's like you are competing in a way. Instead of as women saying, she's a woman, let me support her. Often we don't do that, and men do that all the time. I don't know what is it with us women, but it's very difficult for us as women to support each other. And let's make it, because that is what makes a Wonder Woman, let's make it that we really support each other as women. If you're going to employ a woman, support them, empower them, make sure that they succeed. Make it your mission to make sure that they succeed. And you know, there are always the bright ones, there are always those that shine. Make it a point that it's known. I mean, if I had to even drag a woman when I went for board presentations or whatever, I would do that in corporate, especially young women, so that people see them and they see that there's that potential. You know, Henry Ford once said that, you know, when everybody else says to you that it's tough, when everyone says that it's very difficult, you must always remember that for the airplane to take off, it takes off against the wind and it doesn't take off with it. And with those few words, I thank you. Woo!
Hello, beautiful ladies. Good afternoon. Hope you had a very good lunch. Wonder makes Wonder Woman. Has a quote: you are stronger than your belief. You are greater powers than you know. I'm an entrepreneur from last 15 years working with my husband. So, and I'm giving services to professional photographers worldwide, and it's like we give services for designing, printing and binding of photo books. They just click the images in their respective countries. We design, print, bind and send it across. So now I come back to my story and about the topic. From a very young age, I was an outspoken, energetic, outrageous girl, but not as accomplished in studies as my siblings were. My siblings, I had my two elder sisters and one younger brother. They were very good in studies, although I wasn't. But I was like my papa's dearest girl. Today, if I'm sharing this platform, it's just because of two men of my life, my dad and my husband. Awesome. Because they only supported me in every way, mentally, physically, emotionally. Every single time, if I was down, depressed, even if in my dreams, if I needed a support, it was my dad and my husband who gave me directions. It is rightly said, wonder doesn't happen. It is you who make it happen. So believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. As being a Hindu girl, my father was an idol person in the community. So being a Hindu girl, it was very hard to get married out of caste, and on top of that, love marriage was like boom. And my father was a Hitler kind of a person. So I don't know how I fell in love with my husband. But it was very, very hard to convince them, but I did it. Because nothing is impossible for me. It's never ever impossible for me. Anything is like, everything is given to me in any ways, like it's a work or it's a task or it's a challenge, physical challenge or mental challenge. It's given to me that you have to do this. So I take it as a challenge and I do it. And I not only achieve it, I excel in that, always. Because I believe in God and I believe in universe. Because why I believe in universe, whenever I utter a word, I have a dream. Everybody thinks of dreams. You also dream of your career, of your kids, anything. So when you dream, you have something like you want to become an entrepreneur or you want to have a family, healthy family, or whatever dreams. So for me is, I announce it. I like publicly, I deliver it into my surroundings. When I surround it, those words around me, it make it happen. Automatically, it makes a web around me, and God makes it. According to that web, things comes in a flow, and those things goes in a way. So it's the same way I got married. It was very hard, and then when I got married, this family was like get married. This family. Working as being a girl to this family was very hard. But I was being a girl, I have to work. I can't sit idle. I have a daughter, 19 years old and 13 years old. And this girl, when she was 4 years old, she told me, Mama, why don't you work like Papa work? I said, because darling, I have to take care of you. She said, Mama, I'm good enough. I can take care of myself. You go and work. I said, okay, fine, I'll work. From that day, I started thinking that I have to work. And I started working out of nothing.
Great.
I started going to my husband's office. I didn't know what to do. I just started it. My father-in-law opposed that, iska yahan pe koi kaam nahi hai. Like, she doesn't have anything to do into her business because we have color labs. But still, I keep on going because my husband was supporting me. Then I started, we had just 2 or 3 clients out of India who were getting work done from us, wearing albums. So I picked them up and I started looking for more exhibition out of India. From those exhibitions, I started the exhibiting out of India. I convinced my husband, convinced my father-in-law, although they are very supportive, they supported me in every way. So with the team of 3, now from those 3 or 4 few clients, right now with a span of 7 years or 6 years, we have more than 400, 500 clients worldwide. Those all are professional photographers who are getting work done from us from different communities, different countries, different genders. And that is a big, big achievement for us and me especially. And I come to meet so many people every time, every year, every month. So I believe in myself, as I told you, and it's not reciting a hymn or reading a book going to a temple and mosque, for me is like doing a job. If anything is given to me, if that job is being completed, I've got the God. That is what I believe. I think that's look very filmy or maybe something like that, but that's what I believe. It's very rightly said, never say never. Nothing is impossible. We can always make that happen. Friends, we are women. We have a most powerful thing in us, the childbirth. If we can give a birth to a child, we can keep that sperm and make it to a living being, into a human. In 9 months, we can create wonders. And if that can happen, so think over it. You are a mother, you are a daughter, you may be a sister. Look back into your lives. Think whenever somebody was in a help or need, somebody was ill, maybe you were there with them mentally, physically. You supported them, helped them, hugged them, cared them. You did whatever it took. You were there. It was you. It was you. It was you who did it. Applaud for yourself. It is you who make it wonder, not others. Nobody can lead your life. Nobody can hold your hand to lead it. It is you who going to lead your life and make it to the miracles and make it to the top. Nobody else. You are a beautiful creature. So every time I was pulled back, like people used to say, it is not possible from you. It's not possible. This cannot be done from you. Like getting this girl admission into a school, it was hard. Getting her admitted into the college, it was hard. But I did it. I said, no, I will do it. Oh, there were many, like in my life I had many, everyone had hindrances, circumstances, everyone had. So you were the ones who did it, who passed those. So you have those powers and you can create wonders. Believe in yourself and never let your friend, your sisters, your daughters, even your husbands, anybody let them down. Because you have that magical thing. See yourself when you you raise your kids. When it's a baby, you play with them. When they are younger, you try to tell stories to them. When they are teenager, you manipulate the things with them, you tell them in their way. It's you who make them do. It's not anybody else. So if you can do those things, you can do. That's the reason when a woman is on the platform of business, they are on a high level. Why today's woman is on a high level? It's just because of this. Because they are creative. They can manipulate. It's not manipulate is not a right word, I can say that, but they can do wonders. So last but not the least, never ever compare yourself with any individual, because you are unique in yourself, in your own way. Thank you.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Alejandra from Ecuador. I'm a branch manager of the best bank from Ecuador, is Banco Pichincha, and I combine my professional life with practicing sports. So I am World Cup amateur athlete. You are brilliant, creative, analytical, strong, intelligent, fair, supportive, and leader. Today you will change the world. Are you ready?
Yes.
You are a Wonder Woman. Everybody knows who is Wonder Woman. It's a fictional superhero created by William Moulton Marston for DC Comics. But for me, this comic about Wonder Woman is a stereotype because there are a lot of other figures throughout history that have become icons for women for their contribution to justice, love, science, love, peace, and equity. During the history of our society, the role of woman has been transformed. In the beginning, in prehistoric cultures, the role of the woman was basically collecting, while the man was in charge of hunting. In the most recent societies, the woman was in charge of the care of the children and of the home, and only in case of the very bad family economic situation, the woman looked for work outside the home. Change in the labor market, especially due to their industrial revolution and the great wars of the 20th century, allowed women greater immersion in the labor market. Countless women have contributed to the construction of our history. I want to present you 5 of wonderful women from different periods. First, we have Agnotis. She is the first gynecologist in history. She practiced medicine in Greece when the penalty for doing so was the death penalty. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, Mexico, 804 AD. She was a Mexican writer. She was the greatest figure of Latin American literature of the 7th century. She advocated for gender equality and the right of women to acquire knowledge. Kate Shepherd, New Zealand, 893. In New Zealand was the first country that let women the national right to vote, and she was the member of the suffragette movement in New Zealand. Catherine Suiter, Germany, 947. She was the first woman that ran the marathon, and she had to disguise herself as a man in order to run this career. She won the marathon in New York and in Boston in 1976. Rigoberta Menchú, Guatemala, 960. She had dedicated her life to promoting indigenous rights during and after the country's civil war. She received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1992. I love this phrase that she said, peace is not only the absence of war. As long as there is poverty, racism, discrimination, and exclusion, we can hardly reach a war and peace. The 3 legacies that this Wonder Woman teaches us are: first, have a purpose. It's very important that each woman have a purpose. You have the power and control. All that you can want, you just do it. Believe in yourself. Trust in your abilities. In everything you can achieve. This is no greater barrier in the world than that which you build yourself. Finally, we have the most important thing, love. Love is the most powerful engine. Love yourself, love what you do, love the people who are with you. You can help other people in order to build the best society. be a Wonder Woman. And I want to tell you from my personal life that we must transform. Everything starts with a thought, with a belief, with an affirmation that with saying, I'm capable, I'm a valued person, I can overcome fear and limitations. My life purpose is to inspire transformation. I combine my personal life with practicing high performance sports. I training every day. I practice cycling, bicycle, triathlon, and I have climbed some highest mountains in my country. The last year, I participated in the World Championship Ironman in South Africa. This invitation I received from a foundation for a woman. It calls Women for Three. They invite me because they think that I am one of the best female athletes in the world. It was very important for me, and I am training every day with a group of women. It calls Deltas. Deltas is a group who form with women that not necessarily are professional in sport. They are mothers, they are professionals, they are businesswomen, and it's beautiful because we can support each other in order to achieve our goals. I think sport has the power to transcend the barriers of gender, race, religion, and nationality. And for me, practicing sports is very good for my life because I can develop some skills like discipline, perseverance, and I overcome ever fear, ever limitation. So it is good for my profession. For example, in my band, I am the younger management in my work. In my work, there are 45% of women who work in higher position, and I am the youngest manager. Okay. Regarding the issue of equity, it is necessary to understand where we are today, capitalize the learning of the past, and build the future that we want. Establish objectives for the short and long term, and promote a new leadership to advance our goals. This leadership could be transparent and transformative. Increasingly, more women are influencing and driving the global economy. 870 million women entered the global economy in 1990. 80 trillion is global spending by women in 1980. 28% of the small and medium-sized companies controlled by women. 70 to 80% of all consumer purchase controlled by a woman. So, for now, you are a Wonder Woman. Only you be strong, only you have a purpose, never give up, and enjoy the privileges to being a woman. Thank you.